Welcome to the Positively Transformational Podcast with Asara and Eden Lovejoy, where we embark on a journey of empowerment, growth, and unshakable positivity. We're beyond thrilled to have you join our transformative community. Visit us at successbyyourcommand.com for more transformational programs. Enjoy the show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Positively Transformational. Today, we've got a wonderful topic that we're going to converse about, the value of being yourself. What does that mean, and how do you approach it? Eden, I know you've got a wonderful bit of information to begin with this conversation, so let's go over to you. Hi, and welcome today.
Hi, Asara. I'm so glad to be here today with you and to be talking about being in integrity to who you are and how powerful that is as a leadership tool and how inspiring it is to other people, how energizing it is, and how free we get to be when we are in our own integrity.
Yeah, I mean, being yourself, what does that mean exactly? In a role of leadership in your business, in everyday life, what does being yourself mean first? Let's look at that, and then we'll see some of the applications of how it supports you in your life being yourself.
So what I think it means to be yourself is to not be, well, I think you used the term in a conversation we had not too long ago, not to be performing or pleasing others, right? Not to be modifying how we're showing up because of a sense of how we have to perform for others or please others. And it's very interesting because we do have societal norms we need to pay attention to. So I don't know if you come out of the box, it might be a little rough, but to really be comfortable in our own skin enough to be able to share our own perspective without being afraid to do that naturally and easily. That's what I think it means to be yourself. Over to you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that developing the skill to be yourself takes time over time and is a natural evolution of growing up. Because when we're younger, we're not quite sure who we are yet completely in our own personality. And we might take bits and pieces from people as examples, but we are much more focused on pleasing people and getting approval from people. And then as you get more confidence and you're more certain of what your real approach to the world is, what your real values are, and you have that as your internal integrity. And I think that being yourself means defining what your internal integrity is for your life's mission. So how do you want to show up? I mean, some people are humorous. They show up as being humorous. Some people are verbose. They just express themselves, and that's who they are in their personality. Some people are very, very deep thinkers, and they use logic and they explain things clearly. So who are you in your ability to communicate in the world? What is your highest value that you want to implement when you're talking to when you're talking to people? For example, my highest value is always that people have a lot of resources that they haven't tapped into, that they have a lot of abilities that they don't know about. So every time I talk to people, that's the conversation I'm having, which may be completely different than what they're starting off in the conversation with me. Does that make sense, Eden?
Yeah, it does. It absolutely makes sense. I love how articulate you are about your purpose, right? About what you know is your intention in every conversation. My mission is to bring clarity to environments and conversations. And I think in every conversation that I'm in, I'm leaning into how can I support clarity for people in that conversation as well. So I think getting to know yourself over time is a valid point. I kind of got a little bit stuck when you said when we're growing up, because I've said for years, the 7th and 8th grade middle school is so awfully difficult for people, and kids are so mean in that age because they just don't know who they are, right? And it's a really uncomfortable space. So as you grow, you get more comfortable with it. I don't know if we always take the time to really stop and reflect and name it and claim it, or if we a lot of times kind of go through life unconsciously and just let it express itself.
I remember for so many years actually having fear and trepidation when I was having conversation with people of authority over me, or my role in business, or even as a leader in business. I remember when I was running my business in San Diego, when I was doing radio shows and I had an office, and my co-partner said to me, Asara, why don't you just let an employee be an employee and do their job instead of trying to fix them all the time? And that was a wake-up call that I was not able to set a boundary and say, this is their job, this is what they're supposed to do. I was like, well, gee, I can see they're having this kind of mindset. What if I could change that a little bit? No, I don't need to do that. I just need to get the job done with clear communication and support of the person, accepting them who they are. Is at, who we are, being who we are, means we accept others as they are.
Yeah, no, that's so important and so valuable too, right? Like that being able to recognize that we are different, that we're all different, and that that's respectable and respectful. It's like, it is okay for you and I to have a different perspective on something. I guess old school language, agree to disagree, which just doesn't seem to be as taken much in our society anymore. But I think we have a lot of societal intent on convincing other people to our point of view. But the strength and the power of being comfortable who we are and allowing other people to be comfortable who they are. But when I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking about, oh my gosh, how much energy does that save? It saves so much energy. Don't have to try to figure out what's my next move here because it comes naturally. I don't have to think about how I'm supposed to perform or behave in this situation because it comes naturally. There's so much energy I don't have to expend when I just am comfortable letting myself be a little quirky and odd. And you shared kind of different people's styles, right? Like I'm a little bit of a procedures geek. I mean, I'm a book reader. I'm a jigsaw puzzler. I'm not and then the flip side is and roller coasters and drive really fast, right? So we got to have some balance there. But being comfortable with who we are and our quirks and our little weirdnesses and oddities, I think has got just such great power and such great relaxation in life.
There's an author I read often, and she has characters that are developing relationships. And often either the female character or the male character has certain qualities, such as being super organized, for example, and making sure everything is lined up straight. And in the book, the partner always says, oh, look at how she's just compulsive to be so organized. And I love that about her. And so every time in the book, there's a quality I talked about being very exuberant and overexpressive. And somebody in the book would say, I just love that about him. And the switch, right? It really makes your brain go, something that you would think is annoying could be something that you accept as the person being themselves and allow it to be and enjoy it. And say, isn't that nice that we have all these different qualities of colors, of sounds, of personas, of people being themselves? So we often think about it in terms of the kind of more self-centered aspect of, gee, I need to be myself. But often when you pay attention to other people and allow them to be themselves, that is the most empowering moment.
Well, and I think maybe this is off track or maybe it fits in, I don't know, but that if someone's behavior is annoying to me, one of the authors that I love to read suggests that I get to remember, well, that person's probably not annoying to everybody on the planet. They're just annoying to me. So that's not about them. That's about me, right? That's about something in me that's having some judgment or resistance, or if it's just a different way to look at framing the question of how do I reframe my frustration with someone, I can celebrate it. Now I can celebrate it for them and choose not to spend time with them. and bumps into because I think a part of being true to ourselves is also not trying to force situations and circumstances that are to fit, right? Being available to say, that's really a great opportunity for a lot of people, but it's just not quite a fit for me. And I'm okay with that, right? I get to make my choices and you know, live with that.
And so here's another part of being yourself that I think is very valuable, and that is continually learning. That you haven't developed a personality, a value, and that's it. You're learning because the more skill we have to communicate, the better results we get with others in our conversations or in business specifically. And so learning that you have the option to develop more skills if you come across situations that you find yourself running away from because you don't want to confront it, or you find yourself in a situation where it makes you unhappy after you have the conversation. I propose that I would ask myself, what do I want to know? And how can I better communicate with it in this situation to get the results that I'm after? So having that flexibility to be able to shift and develop even more skills. So rather than just saying, oh gosh, I'm being myself, but it doesn't work, say, oh, I'm being myself and I want more information on how to communicate what my mission or what my standards are to other people in my organization as a business owner.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I think I never want to stop learning and growing, right? I never want to get to a place where I decide this is the be all and the end all, because I think from there, I don't know if I'm coasting downhill, right? I don't want to try to dig in my heels. So having that flexibility, I do think there are things that are internal that are constant, right? That are constant to who we are. And I don't need to necessarily grow through them or around them, but if that strategy is not worth how I'm showing up, isn't working in a certain situation, then I get to reconsider it. I think one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit that maybe we kind of glossed over in the beginning is, when we are true to ourselves, how inspirational that is to others. That it's when people recognize authenticity, especially nowadays, we're writing with AI, we're communicating through all of these different channels, but that authenticity wins through every time. Really being your true authentic self, not trying to let it sound good or take the easier, softer way and grab content that, looks right but isn't your voice. I think that there's an inspirational human connection when people are truly communicating from their core of who they are. And that's inspirational to our employees, to our team, to the people around us, and to our market. And so, really, really holding that high value of being unique, right? Like, I mean, each one of us is 100% unique and unique on the world and on the planet. So we have a responsibility to share that uniqueness.
I love that. And before we go into the commands, I'll say that's one of the unique qualities I often address is that people are hesitant to put themselves out there with a new idea or a new product or a new service or even a new way to organize their company. And they say, well, others have done it much better than me, or why am I capable of doing this? And the answer is, you're the only one that can do it from your perspective and your personality and what you know about in life. So go for it, because I'm an author, right? So I could say, well, gee, I don't need to write a book. Somebody else has written on that subject. I say, if I even wrote on the same subject, it would be a completely different book because it's from my point of view. So honor and respect your positioning of who you are in the world. You don't need to manipulate others to get into agreement with you. You just need to know in yourself what results you would like to see and how you want to share your life with other people. And once you do that, there's no stopping you, baby.
Exactly. Well, that's a good spot to go into command then.
Okay, great. All right. So let's go ahead and close our eyes. Bring that energy fully into your body. Feel yourself letting that energy go out, down the bottom of your feet, grounding yourself deep, deep, deep into the earth. And we're going to bring that energy up and focus it in your heart of, I am comfortable and easy being myself. I'm secure and confident in being myself. And just breathe that light energy into your heart. Take that breath now. Breathe it into your heart and hold that light up to your forehead. And hold your breath, and then expand. Let that breath surround you as light is above you, below you, before you, behind you, on either side of you. Light, light, light. I am the light. Let your eyes look up underneath your closed eyelids. Move your consciousness up, out into the quantum field, moving out into the possibility and potentiality of creating this strength, vision, and idea of what you want to express in the world exactly from your point of view and from who you are. And push up into that white luminosity of all that is. I don't know how. I claim my self-worth, my value, and my individuality. I only know I claim who I am that I am now, and I am fulfilled. I don't know how I relax my nervous system into knowing who I am, that I'm happy and contented with who I am, even as I continue to grow. I only know I have a relaxed nervous system in my conversations and in my ability to communicate to others, and I am fulfilled. I don't know how I am able to be relaxed without having to manipulate. I remove manipulation from my conversation, and I improve my presence in my communication. I only know that I am present and powerful in the ways in which I share my ideas and communicate with others, and I am fulfilled. I don't know how I have a constant vision of my value in the world and in life and in my life communications with others. I only know I have great value, and I share that value and see that value in others now, and I am fulfilled. Now just expand, and go into that know-nothing state. Allow yourself to just float. This is the being state of who you are. Get comfortable with it. Get familiar with it. I don't know how my communications and presence of being serves in an even greater way in the world than I can currently imagine, and serves me in an even greater way than I can currently imagine. I only know it is so now, and I am fulfilled. And allow that energy to come back down into your body. Let your eyes relax. Let your DNA open and unwind the past, unwind the limitations, unwind what you resist, let it go, and rewind with it even more confidence, more strength, more belief in yourself of who I am. I am who I am now, and I am fulfilled. Rewind, rewind, rewind. Okay, welcome back. How was the meditation?
It was great. Yes, it was perfect. I love that expand into who you are in the theta
you know, in all that is. I love that, the power and energy and resource of that. So thank you.
Okay. Well, till next time. See you then.
All
Bye.
right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today. And remember, transformation is a journey. You're not alone on this path. Connect with us on social media because the Positively Transformational community is all about uplifting one another. Share your thoughts, your aha moments, and even suggest topics you'd love to hear more about. Take care, stay blessed, and keep shining bright. Remember, you can always visit us at successbyyourcommand.com for more information.